3 p.m.
Live on 95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
This is Sunnyside on 95.1 Nigeria Info.
All right, it's 95.1 Nigeria Info. Thank you so much for staying here. It's another time to have those interesting conversations like we always do every day on the Sunny Conversation or on our Media Discuss segment. Now, interesting headlines. We have interesting things happening. Yesterday, we were even hit with a big shocker about the increase of the salaries of high-profile Nigerians, federal government appointees and the likes of them. And at the same time, a whole lot is going down in the Tinubu administration. Appointment of security chiefs. We're still trying to look at that and, raise the issues involved. And then, still on subsidy and so many things that have been happening ever since the coming on board of this administration. And to discuss this with me and many more issues that we'll be raising in the course is Mr. Cletus Agada, who is on standby. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Swat, and everyone in the studio. Good to be with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for making out time to join me. Now, sir, let's. Yesterday I couldn't get you on the line, but I still want to, revisit the issue of the, military or the security chiefs that have been appointed. I try to look at it from a perspective of wholesome security, not just, the arms and ammunition or the hard power. We also try to look at food security, economic security, health, agriculture, and every other, security, and also the readiness of the caliber of people that have been appointed by this administration. So I still love to take your own, thoughts on that, based on the personalities involved and what you think may be the way forward, moving forward in terms of security in Nigeria as a nation.
Well, if someone has risen to the rank that those people were before their new appointment, I think we should not doubt their ability or capability to handle the responsibility that has been bestowed on them. I think that's the first place to start from. The challenge we had with the immediate past administration was the nepotism or clannishness in making appointments into those very sensitive positions that it seems as if they were a section bias or probably religious bias. I think this administration has tried considerably to take care of that. If you look at the four service chiefs, we have two from the north and then two from the south. And if you add the NSA and the Inspector General of Police to it, you have a situation of three from the north and three from the south. It's unfortunate that that's where it ends. If you come to the zones or to the regions, you see that North Central and South were probably not captured. But security is not all about security. Uniform personnel, it controls everybody. You will recall that someone from South just emerged as the number 3 citizen of the country. That's the slave president. And then we have someone from the North Central being appointed as the secretary to the government of the federation in person of George Akpabio and Akpabio respectively. So I think to some great extent, the Tinubu administration is trying to balance the situation as it is now. And we hope that we won't have the situation we had under the last government, that everyone that had to have anything to do with security were from one particular section of the country. Like I said, I believe the ranks they were, Betoko was a DIG before he was appointed IGP, and so rising through the ranks to that position, I want to believe is ably qualified. The Chief of Army Staff also was a Major General before his appointment, and all the other service chiefs, they were people who have gone through professional trainings and all of that before arriving at where they are today. So we don't have any reason to doubt their ability. We have a mathematician as the Inspector General of Police now. He also has a master degrees in data analysis. And it's one of the things we have overemphasized on this program, that data collection and all of that is very important in security arrangement, and we've not had that. We don't have a database in this country. We don't have any information. I think we will be surprised if nobody knows this particular hour. People die in accident and you cannot match their DNAs. Those are some of the products of not having a data bank in the country. And so I hope with someone with such quality as the Inspector General of Police, we're going to have a better security arrangement in the country, and probably ICT will be deployed to work in preventing and tackling security in the country. It's too early to start judging them by their performance. They've just been appointed, and we hope we know the challenges facing the country, and they are going to do justice to it.
Yeah, let's also look at the issue of the National Security Advisor and how people are doubting what the synergy would be between him and the military. For example, going by the fact that he was not a former or retired military personnel and all of that. So many people said that there wouldn't be cooperation. But, others have also cited other developed nations who have had their security, the same person or the same position as someone who must not necessarily come from the military, and you have great cooperation, you have great working synergy and all of that. So how do you see that panning out, especially for, Ribadu and the military and all the other, parastatals?
With the training of the military personnel, duty demands that they should respect authority. And I think they will do justice to that. I think it's also high time we begin to respect our police personnel. There is nowhere it's written that they are inferior to our military men. They went through a lot of training. They are ably qualified. They are educated. They are learned. You have someone like Ribadu, who headed the Economic and Financial Crime Commission over a decade ago. And so I believe it's someone that is coming into the job with a lot of experience. We're going to see the connect between the fraud and the insecurity in the country. I hope he is going to bring those experiences that he had as an antitrust officer into bear in that. I don't expect anybody to be disobedient to him. If they want a position like President initially appointed him as a special advisor, and if they were to report directly to the president by bypassing the office of the NSA, I'm sure they know that they won't have access to the president at all times. So they will have to use his special advisor or report to the special advisor, and the special advisor report to the president, which would have also been Ribadu. So I don't want to speculate that there will be any disagreement. Number one, because by their call of duty, they are supposed to synergize, they are supposed to gather informations and make sure that there is harmony within the security architecture, and let it also be known to everyone that the police is not inferior to the military. They have more personnel. They undergo equal amount of training. They have spent so many number of years in service together. They have all made sacrifices for this country in one way or the other. It is not for you to say that maybe as a journalist, what you're doing is better than what a doctor is doing. We are all serving our country. So if you are a military man and your duty call or your responsibility is in one particular area, and the police supposed to do the same in another area, I don't see any reason why you should envy them or why you should not be submissive to them when duty demands. And in any case, the military are now doing all the policing jobs in the country. You see them at the roadblocks. They collect bribe like the usual police we know, the 50 naira, the 100 naira. We have seen that was never heard of the military. In fact, in those days when they were first deployed to the highways, we used to say that no, the police guys were more corrupt and the military guys won't collect money from you. But that is not the situation today. And so I think they have also brought themselves down to the level of the police, and the discipline we used to know them for is no longer as it used to be. I hope this crop of leaders that have been appointed will restore those glory days, and they will concentrate on their professional job and not looking down at anybody, whether you are from the police or you are from the civil defense or you are those eras of bloody civilians. I think we should do away with it.
What do you think should be the most urgent task before them right now, as they hit the ground running? What should be the most urgent thing that they should tackle head on without wasting time right now as this in Nigeria?
I think it's for them to put their house in order. They should build the synergy. That is first. The issue of Boko Haram has reduced drastically from the past administration. What we now had was bandit and the farmer header crisis. And the issue of farmer header is more pronounced during the dry season. So I think they have enough ample time to put their house together and see how they can build the framework to tackle the challenges. The president in his meeting broadcast said they are going to find a more modern way for headers to do their trade and then see how that can improve security. I believe he has the rainy season. We still have about 3 to 4 months left in the rainy season to put those things together so that when the waters and the grasses begin to dry off, we will have other alternatives for the headers to see how they can feed their heads and stop destroying people's farmland and the crops that used to be the cause of problem that we've had in the past. The last administration, even though Emefiele might be in detention, but his policy on Naira redesign also contributed greatly in reducing the kidnap for ransom that we've had in the past. And since that incident of Naira redesign or Naira scarcity that we had, those kidnappers have not fully resumed. I hope they will continue in that regards, and then the security men, while they are on recess, the security men will be able to energize themselves and make sure that they deploy every loophole so that when they come back to their job again, we will be able to exterminate them once and for all. I think there is no urgent need at hand. Like you rightly said, security is not all about arms and ammunition. We talk about food security. We talk about education. We need to keep our youths, most especially those in the universities, in class, and make sure that they face their books. We need to make sure that there is job for people and nobody will, because of hunger, go and rob the other or try to do what is not supposed to do. Those are also part of security measures. And I hope the government will begin to put those things in place as soon as possible, because with the situation we have in the country at the moment, the economy is not smiling on anybody. The removal of subsidy is less than a month old, and we are beginning to feel the impact badly already. Probably some people might not be feeling it yet, but when there is a turnover and you have to pay your children's school fee, you discover that the money you used to save to pay school fee in September is what you have now put into extra fuel and extra food and all of that. When it's time for you to pay your house rent, you discover that you were not able to save because the money that you were collecting was not enough for you to do that. And so definitely if nothing is done, security will worsen in the coming months, not necessarily because people have become more criminal, but because they have become more desperate. They've been pushed to the wall, and what they take is not enough to take them home again. So I hope the government will be on their feet and look where the right things are done at the appropriate time, so that it will also help the security personnel in doing their job, because If somebody is well fed and probably have enough to rest in his house, I don't think they will be on the street wandering at odd hours. And I believe that the government, the way they are going, if they don't remove their hand from the plow, we should see positive results from some of their policies and programs in the days to come.
Okay, yeah. So still trying to look at issues around removal of subsidy, while the committee has been saddled with the responsibility of coming up with issues of palliatives or things that will cushion the hardship for Nigerians. We've also heard people like the marketers, oil marketers or petrol marketers, NLC, talking about what they call the CNG, which is the compressed national gas, to serve as an alternative for Nigerians. What's your take on that? Many people are asking, how does that even happen when we are having vehicles that use petrol? Son is coming into the matter saying, well, they will roll out cars that have alternatives. You can switch to either using CNG or petrol. But, what about the cars that people drive every day? And then even if that is rolled out, what's the guarantee that people can afford it? And a whole lot of complication around that. But people, or the oil marketers, NLC, and a host of other people are talking about the alternative, which is the compressed national gas. What's your take on that?
Well, I don't think we should complicate issues for ourselves. Not that the current pump price of petroleum product is too high. It's our earning that is too low. And I think that's the first place people begin to look at. Whether you are using compressed gas or whatever form of energy you are using, you still have to pay for it. And what people earn now is not enough to take care of that and take care of other pressing needs like food, like accommodation, like food in house. All those things are things that should be taken care of. When the NLC and TUC gave their strike notice, I was one of those who felt the strike was unnecessary. Not necessarily because the strike was unnecessary, but because their priority was wrong. What I had expected them to do is to demand for a better or a living wage for workers. They were not doing that. They were asking the government to reverse to the old price. I felt every Nigerian agreed that subsidy should go because the level of corruption in subsidy is so high. But leaving the corruption aspect apart, subsidy was actually for the big man. Let me give you an instance. I'm driving a Corolla that during the era of subsidy, I can use 12,000 to fill it. Someone that is driving an SUV, a Land Cruiser's Jeep, uses 50,000 to fill his Land Cruiser Jeep. It means you subsidize for that man for 50,000 while you subsidize for an ordinary man like me for 12,000 naira. Now, if subsidy is removed, the man will now require like 150,000 naira to fill his SUV. Now, I may require like 36,000 naira to fill my small car.
Okay, so let's just quickly take this commercial and then you continue with your line of thoughts when we come back. All right, thank you so much. Let's take this commercial.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
I keep my sunny side up so they can see me from above. I keep my sunny side up. No more running from the love, no more, no more. I keep my sunny side up.
For politicians and the likes. We'll come to that though, but Mr. Cletus Agada is my guest, and you were on that point before the commercial. We're back now, sir, so you may go on.
Yes, so if we have all agreed that subsidy should go, if they have not come out to tell us how much they are saving from the subsidy removal, how many percentage of that can we put into a better wage? If we are saying we are going to use 20% of what we steal from the removal of subsidy to increase the wages of workers, how much will that be? How will it increase the purchasing power of the ordinary man, which will also have a multiplier effect on the in the corporate sector of the economy? Those are the things we should be hearing from the government. Hopefully, by the time they begin to put structures in place, like ministers and then constituting boards and all of that, some of these things will be taken care of adequately. Talking about CNG now, probably if the president had not removed subsidy on his first day in office, maybe those are some of the things they would have put together and see that there is an alternative before removing the subsidy. But now that has been done, let's see how the refineries can work and see if that will affect the prices of pump price positively. Let's see how the dollar, they floated the dollar. It was the same mistake that Buhari made in 2015 when they floated the dollar and the dollar crashed badly. They floated the naira. I don't know the one they floated now, whether the naira or the dollar. And then I know that the naira is crashing because I saw this morning that naira has gone to about 815 naira. I don't know. I've not been able to verify that, but there is a complaint in the market already because they don't have a handle on some of these things. I believe some of those things are the things that is going to augment the pain. If, for instance, since they increase the pump price of petroleum product, they'll be able to bring the dollar back instead of asking the official rate to move up to the parallel market rate. If we'll be able to bring down the parallel market rate to the 420 or thereabout that we're having in the past, maybe fuel will be selling for like 400 naira or 350 naira by now. The dollar is still above 400 naira. Nobody is talking about that. Some of the things that are going to reduce the pump price of petroleum product and make sure that the naira, the little that we earn, has more value is some of the things we should be thinking about now. Not necessarily complicated issues like CNG and all of that, that we don't know how long that will take for us to migrate to such a new plan. For now, we should keep on the path of making sure that the refineries are working. We should try as much as possible to see how people can go home with living wages and make sure we provide housing for people that is close by to their place of work and so many other logistics. If you want to start buying vehicles and you call it palliatives, how many vehicles can you buy? How many buses can you buy? If you go and buy long buses, will you also buy taxis and give to people? People should have the money and spend it the way they want to spend it. For now, they are not doing that. If they are improving salaries for high-profile personalities, of course, you should go to tell them that the people on the lower part of the ladder are feeling the pain even much more than these people at the higher level. These are people that use government codes and all of that for different things. Their cars are fueled directly from government account. There's budget for that. And these are people entitled to brand new cars as often as possible. So these people are definitely not feeling the pain. But if they believe they are already feeling the pain, then they should know that the ordinary man of the street is worse off, and they should start thinking about them as quick as possible.
So, I mean, with this new salary increase, does this now herald us into that place where, you know, where salary increase may be a thing of reality very soon? Because, I mean, I don't know how long this can be sustained, that high-profile politicians, judges, you know, government officials are having a 114% increase, while the ordinary man on the street is still struggling. They're not saying anything about that, even though they are talking about that. But then also you look at the very small percentage of the civil servants, and you are now talking about, what about the rest of Nigerians? What about those people in the private sector, those people who are just entrepreneurs, small, medium scale enterprise owners, and then the vast majority of the populace that is also unemployed? How do you help that, or how do you make it in such a way that everyone is inclusive, in such a way that some people are not left out, disenfranchised from any palliatives or anything whatsoever that should make it easy for Nigerians? Since we've seen a salary increase for high-profile people, what about the ordinary Nigerians?
Well, I don't think it's a bad place to start from. 114%. If you multiply that by what people collect today as minimum wage, that would probably be like 65,000 naira as minimum wage. It's still small, but at least it might be a good place to start from. If they believe these people deserve 114% increment, I believe the civil servants also deserve something like that. Don't forget that when you talk about minimum wage, it's not peculiar to people that work in public places, that is in government offices. It's an act. Is a law. So any company that is registered under the Company and Allied Act caps, which is what you now know as
but we don't get to see that compliance on the side of the private sector, do we? Most of the time it's just a government thing. People don't comply.
It might not be immediate, but somewhere along the line, I can tell you that a lot of private companies even pay higher than the minimum wage now. Unfortunately, maybe they don't adopt things like housing, like transport and all of that, but a lot of private companies pay higher than that. Then you should also look at it from the purchasing power of those that will be affected immediately. By the time they are power increases, it means the private companies, most especially those into production, will make more money because there will be more purchases and all of that, and it's definitely going to trickle down on the welfare of their own workers. Yeah.
Hello?
I think a lot of people are underemployed.
Okay, yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
A lot of people are underemployed, not necessarily unemployed, because people are doing one thing or the other, but what they earn from it is not enough to take care of their needs. Not that people just fold their hands. And that is why when you declare a strike and there is no movement on the street, people begin to complain, because people go out every day and come back with something every day to feed their families. Some of these things are not registered jobs. Because of the system we have in the country, there is the taxi driver who makes a lot of money on a daily basis. If you go to the UK, that is a job. In Nigeria, it is not a job. There is a conductor that makes a lot of money every day. We've had a situation where we have bankers and medical doctors resign from their job in Nigeria to go and become taxi drivers in the UK. So those things are definitely going to have a multiplier effect on the taxi driver on the street, because if you have more money now, instead of jumping into a long, you might be calling an Uber to go to work. Some of those things, the multiplier effects, and then places that you used to trek, you might just want to enter a vehicle and there is more money. If you go about today, you see a lot of commercial drivers parked by the roadside because people can no longer move freely. People don't go out when it's not necessary again because the cost is high. That means the commercial driver himself that used to drive around anyhow and go back with something good does not have anything to take home again. These are some of the effects and the multiplier effect in any case that there is an increment in the minimum wage. So I don't think it's peculiar to people that work in government office. They might be the first partaker of it, but it's going to trickle down to people. If they have the corpus, we have their allowances in place, it's definitely going to go down to the villages where they are serving. And we're going to see it in their purchasing power, they feel better and all of that. Even some of them have started doing charities, giving people scholarship where they teach, try and do one social responsibility in the communities where they teach. So all these things will be captured if we have a better way. For those who thought it nice to increase the salary of high-profile personalities, I believe they are also thinking of increasing the salary of the ordinary man on the street. And I hope it won't take long, because Tinubu is yet to be in office for 1 month. So let's believe that between now and the end of June, or when salary begins to hit people's account, God would have touched their heart to also implement it without anybody going
So
on strike.
in the case where we don't see that happen anytime soon, what do you think will happen?
Yeah, it's for the labor unions to agitate for it. If they are going on strike that they don't earn a living wage, that their workers cannot get to work because their salary cannot take them to the office, I will support them in that regard. But not telling government that they should revert to the old price of petroleum product. No, that is not that is a policy issue that they shouldn't concern themselves with. They should be concerned about the welfare of their workers or their members, and then tell the government that what we earn now is not enough. The salary that you pay me this month, in 1 week, we have used it to transport ourselves to work, and for the remaining 3 weeks, we are going to stay at home until the next salary comes. Then we'll go to work for another 1 week, and then come and stay at home again. That is what I'm expecting from Labour. Labour should be protecting the interest of their members and not necessarily determining for the government how to run the economy.
Okay,
you should tell them, okay,
yeah, go ahead.
If the economy is not doing well, if the naira is the people in government quarters, the official people, have a way of telling you how much the pump price of petroleum is in Ghana, how much petroleum product is in America, how much they sell petrol in Canada. They should also tell you how much is the salary of the average Canadian, the average American, and the average Ghanaian.
Yeah.
By the time we begin to make comparative analysis, they have achieved the first part. They have taken the pump price of petroleum to equal what it is in America, in Canada, in Germany, and everywhere. Now they should also take the wages of the people to that level also, so that people can begin to have a good life. Standard of living has been appreciated, and it is because of the earning power of the people, not necessarily because of the removal of subsidy.
What about the states? The states, may not, implement, because I remember how hard it was to get some states to up the salaries of their workers to that 30,000. In fact, NLC kept on threatening some particular states who refused bluntly, and I think up until now, some of the states have not implemented the 30. Now we're talking about the high cost of living that has come as a result of this subsidy removal and a whole lot of other things. I mean, electricity tariff is projected to also increase by 40% from the beginning of next month. So these things are not in any way funny for the average Nigerian that is looking for 1 square meal for his family. And then with all this complication, how would life be? I mean, it's okay for when you say, yes, we are hopeful that the federal government work out. What about the state work out? What about the high cost of living that would also not be mindful of your location, but would just take a toll on you and your family and all of that, So what do you make of all of these things?
Well, anything concerning minimum wage should not be a verbal agreement or a charity or a benevolence intended to the workers by the executive. It should be an act. And if it's an act of parliament, all the states are bound to comply by it. I think that is the first place to start from. I listened to one of the Labour leaders on national television, and he talked about how the immediate past Speaker of the House of Reps, Femi Gbajabiamila, tried to intervene at one point or the other while he was Speaker. Today, he is now the Chief of Staff. I'm sure he knows where he stopped. He started from where he stopped and where to continue from. I want to believe he means well for Nigeria, he means well for the Labour community, both NLC, ASU, and the other labor unions. And on several occasions as Speaker, he has tried to intervene. So I don't have any doubt that things that goes through his table now probably might get more expedient action and make sure that people are not kept to wait for too long or disappointed on some issues. If minimum wage become an act, the states are bound to comply by it. Secondly, don't forget that subsidy is paid directly from the federation accounts. So if subsidy is removed, it means more money will be shared to the states and the local governments. So they will now have more resources. And that is why proponents of subsidy removal keep telling you that most of the subsidy, the people that enjoys it, are in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and the urban centers, because that is where we have a high number of vehicles. Now, the money they use in paying for this subsidy is money removed from the federation account, which should have gone down to the local government in Kaura Namuda, in Akoko Edo, or in somewhere in the hinterland in Bayelsa and in Cross River or in Imo State. So this money now going directly to the federation account, the states and the local government are supposed to have a higher share of whatever is allocated to them on a monthly basis, and so they won't have any reason to complain about minimum wage if it is uniformly agreed. Because in setting up a committee to review some of these things, we have a peer group that is the governors forum, and in most cases they used to ask them to send a representative. And even if they don't, if the labor union have an agreement with the federal government, it is for them to meet with the state governments as a group and agree on something that is definitely going to be helpful, because cost of living in some states is different from what we have in other places, and such peculiarities could be considered if you decide to negotiate with them at the governor forum level. So I don't see any problem if there is an increase in allocation from the federation account, and it will also give the governors the opportunity to have more resources to build roads, to build classrooms, to make sure that some of the urban renewal programs that they have is implemented. So we shouldn't be afraid of what the next person is going to do. Let's start from somewhere. If the federal government agrees today that minimum wage should be increased by 114%, like they've done for the first class citizens, if I may be permitted to use that, let's start from that is the federal government workers. And then the other people, we've had a situation in the past, most of the state universities, when ASU go on strike, they go on strike uniformly, and whatever ASU agrees at the national level is what the state universities implement. I believe the labor leaders know how to handle that. And I don't think we will have problem with that, most especially if the proceeds of subsidy removal begin to trickle down to the states and the local government.
Oh, well, let's see how that pans out to be, though. Just quickly before we open up the lines, let me just take your thoughts on the fact that a British envoy is saying that Tinubu's big economic decisions are being noticed all around the world. We know for the longest of time, our economy has not thrived well, insecurity and a whole lot of things. But with these little steps that we've seen being taken so far, unification of Forex, and then also subsidy removal, well, I could point to that, though. I mean, do you think is in any way that is stoking some sort of excitement around the world in terms of foreign direct investment, and what are the potentials for all, and what is to come in terms of economic policies that will be rolled out in the near future?
Honestly, I don't want a government that excites the world and bring tears to the eyes of Nigerians. And nobody, whether a British envoy or whoever, should tell us how we feel. We all agree that the decision to remove subsidy is the right one, but the pains are there and we are all seeing it. The government has not been able to counterbalance that. It's 1-0 if you may ask me. We are waiting for them to take the next step. Nigerians have been patient with them. They have extended the goodwill to them, and all of us agreed. Well, maybe most of us agreed that it's time for a subsidy to go, even though the president today was one of those who was against subsidy removal in time past. But let's agree that it is the right thing to do at this moment. So let's subsidy go. It is not for anybody. If it is reverberating, I don't know how they can help. I don't think they are thinking about the good of the Nigerians. They are only looking at how they can come and exploit us the more, how the gains that the IMF is going to gain from all of this. I think that is the area they are looking for. The benefit of British companies in Nigeria. They now want to come and establish refineries. Well, it might have an advantage in terms of creating jobs and all of that. But I don't know how this decision on the unity is benefiting the international community more than we look at. And if at the long run, it's only the international community that is excited about these policies and not Nigeria, then something is wrong. We want to see, it's good that they have started getting excited, but we want to see that replicate on the people of Nigerians. Yeah. We want to see Nigerians smile. We want to see them happy with the policies that, yes, it has saved us some cost. We want to see more electricity. If they want to remove electricity subsidy, as they have rightly said, probably for me it's too early. The people are trying to come to terms with what we are having with the petroleum subsidy, and they want to add electricity to it. But the challenge is not even the subsidy removal, is the unavailability of electricity. And Tinubu, who has not added a single megawatt to the generation, or added another line to the distribution line, want to remove electricity subsidy. I think it's a fault. I think they are getting it wrong. They are only exciting the international community. They should allow Nigerians come to terms with the subsidy removal. The electricity is not there. I mean the fuel subsidy removal. And people can no longer put on generators in their houses because they cannot afford the over 500 naira pump price of petroleum product to go and on generators. And then you go home in the evening, there is no electricity. Everywhere is dark and quiet because it's not as it used to be. Now they want to remove subsidy on electricity. At a point, they told us under the Buhari regime that electricity was not being subsidized again. I don't know when, at what point it returned through the back door, and now Tinubu want to remove it.
I mean, even the subsidy regime was not removed once or twice in the last administration. So, I don't think it's shocking or surprising for me, though.
The last time I knew, they said we were no longer subsidizing electricity.
Yes.
That was the last.
Yes, very true. Very, very true.
So, seeing this news that the electricity subsidy was going to be removed, I don't know if they are saying they are removing subsidy or they are saying they want to increase tariff by 40%. I think they just need to be clear. They want to be on the path of profitability. They want to increase tariff by 40%. But first and foremost, let's have this electricity.
Okay.
I think that is the question that we should be asking. But nobody is thinking in that regard. People are talking about who is excited in the UK and who is excited in the US, but Nigerians are not smiling. I don't think that's funny.
Okay, let's take on people's reaction. Let's know what they have to say, and then we'll let you go in a very short while from now. 0700 951 0000. You can also dial 080 9597 4869. WhatsApp is 080 999 30137. Please make the contact and share your thoughts with us this afternoon. Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Can you hear me back?
I don't know. Mr. Agada, can you hear him?
You can hear me, Swat.
Not very audible, but at least information.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to second his statement about labor. If labor demanded for increment on salary, they should remember that the percentage is just 5%. Because of we, just like what he mentioned, a lot of my colleagues fast, they cannot move around. I bought this contract for this money, Swat.
Hello, Adewumi, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Hello? I can hear you.
Oh. Okay.
I can hear you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I have
Okay, Adewumi, I think you will have to call us back. Honestly, the output is extremely poor. We can't hear you. Okay, we have some couple of messages here. Papa from Metama said, "Good day, SWAT. I beg to disagree with your guest. Subsidy removal for me was a wrong step. It was like playing the ostrich by not fighting the actual corruption. They would have fought the corruption in subsidy payment. And as for British envoy, we should ask him if his government can remove the housing subsidy and every other subsidy their government gives to their citizens. Well, we can see that dollar is now 8.15. President Tinubu must begin to think about consequences before rolling out policies." That's Papa from Etama. Austin from Kubwa said, "If corruption is not seriously dealt with, there is nothing more money in the hands of government will as a result of removal of all these subsidies. Nothing at all will be achieved." Okay, and then this one says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Agada. It's obvious our political office holders are insensitive to the economic situation in the land. Majority of Nigerians can barely feed, and they are talking about increase in their salary," says Tokwe This one says, "Good afternoon, Swat. Wow, your guest has said what exactly I said yesterday on your show, as if you were listening to me. Anybody that's telling you that Dangote refinery will be working by the end of this year is not telling you the truth. The subsidy is gone, according to Mr. Tinubu. Then where's the provision to cushion the effects after its removal? Who is feeling the heat, or who is feeling the heat? Not them, but the common man. They keep on telling us to sacrifice. Haven't we sacrificed enough? If we haven't, then when? So what, haven't we opened the next book of lamentation and complaint box? What do you expect from the same old political order who have recycled themselves?" Okay, I'll stop there and take on this message. Thank you, Emeka from NNPC Towers. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. I can't hear you well. Please put up your window.
Can you hear me now?
There is a lot of air around you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, no, you have to call me back. Hello?
What?
Yes.
Thank you. You can hear me now?
Yes.
So I said that, as I was saying, I bought 14,000 fuel this morning for a Texio, not for Jeep, not for Tundra. Now, I want to tell Mr. Gada, if you have opportunity to meet Labour president, tell him they should not demand for any increment of salary, because this government is smart. They will give a worker 60,000 with the right hand. They will use less and collect it back. Look at us, we are making call, we are paying fast. This is Buhari government. You remember when they increased the part of mineral? They say we should not go to Nikon, to go to Transcorp. It's not by force. If he is trying for you and I to buy mineral drink, it's the only them that deserve it. You understand? So Labour should not demand for increment of salary. They should demand for how our refinery will work. You know what I have always telling you since 2018. It's a democracy, of course. This period to Nigeria is still a force for us to get it. In the UK, people that they are happy. Is it how their people are living in abject poverty? What is their interest about Nigeria? IMF will never direct our government to build refineries, but they will be telling them to remove subsidy. Look at where we are today now. Look at where we are. They are happy because of the interest that they have in Nigeria. They should fear God. They should fear God. I think the next thing that we have to make sure is what affects me, it will be a revolution. You will
All
see
right.
soon.
Thank you.
Forget about tribe and religion. We will go for a revolution in this country. It's too much.
All right. Thank you.
People who are nobody before are becoming billionaires.
All right. Thank you, Adeomi. Hello.
Hello, Swat, my sister. Good afternoon, man.
Good afternoon to you.
Mr. Gada has spoken well. Good afternoon, sir.
All right.
You can hear me.
Go ahead.
You have spoken well, and let me tell you, for the last word you used, that Nigerians are not smiling. Yes, it is true that Nigerians are not smiling. But Nigerians are smiling and suffering. My name is Obedient Machu. Sorry, I didn't mention my name.
It's okay.
Obedient Machu. So Nigerians are smiling, but they are suffering. If we are not smiling, all Nigerians will have come out to the streets peacefully, and they know what to do. I'm telling you the truth. Let all Nigerians come out to the streets. Everybody, both the poor, both the rich, everybody. They will now understand that Nigerians are not smiling. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, well, my name is Yunusa. I'm calling from Maraba.
All right, Yunusa, go ahead.
Thank you very much. God bless you. For me, I need to increase the salary of the workers, because now, seeing the cost, transport is cost. It will go, work is come back. It's not easy for every person to go every day, especially with family to work. When they go every day, go night, come back, go money, come back, go. You know, it's not easy for them. People are suffering for this issue of this government. What this man try to do is good, but to go where you need to increase the salary of people to survive.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Yunusa. We'll quickly take this commercial and then we will continue with our discussion. Please stay on. Don't go anywhere.
Connection established.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on